This new Ford Maverick Hybrid all-wheel drive is definitely a green vehicle. I'm not talking about the color, but I will in a little bit. Ever since the Ford Maverick Hybrid went on sale for the 2022 model year, it's been a huge hit. Ford's barely been able to keep up with demand, and no surprise, 38 mile per gallon pickup truck is hard to beat. But there is one thing customers have been demanding. See, when the Hybrid first came out, it was only available with front-wheel drive. If you wanted an all-wheel drive Maverick, you had to go with the 2-liter turbocharged model. But for 2025, they finally gave the Hybrid an all-wheel drive system. Still get the front-wheel drive model at a starting price of $29,840, and all-wheel drive is $2,220 extra, so call it $32,060. That's for base XL. This mid-level XLT is $34,560. And a top-of-the-line Lariat, which is only available with all-wheel drive, is $40,135. Now, the Hybrid power plant itself hasn't changed. You still get a 2.5-liter, 4-cylinder, naturally aspirated engine that runs on the Atkinson cycle, 2 electric motors, and an eCVT transmission, electronic, continuously variable, so there are no gears that are shifting. Unlike some hybrid all-wheel drive vehicles, however, this actually uses a drive shaft that goes to a rear differential. A lot of the compact crossovers these days, like Toyotas and Hondas, just throw another electric motor at the rear axle. The official fuel economy rating for this is 37 miles per gallon combined, split between 40 for the city, 34 on the highway, and I've been getting pretty much 37 on the nose in mixed driving. And the four-wheel drive Hybrid only gets 38 miles per gallon, so you really don't give up much at all. One very important thing you can gain, however, is towing capacity. The front-wheel drive Hybrid is rated for 2,000 pounds, but for $745, you can get a 4K tow package for this that boosts that to 4,000 pounds, hence the name. Aside from the powertrain and a redesigned front end, not a whole lot has changed on the outside of the truck for 2025. It still has what Ford calls the flex bed, which in this case has a spray and bed liner. You got these attachment points up here and in the floor, and in this XLT, a power outlet with 400 watts of power, plus these smaller ones that you hook 12-volt accessories up to. And while this isn't new or even particularly unique, I always do like to point this out. You can adjust these tailgate supports from here to here, which lines up the top of the wheel wells with the top of the tailgate, so you can put in long, wide items. This also has some neat storage on the inside. The door pockets have room for tall water bottles and other things. And the rear seat bottom folds up and has these storage compartments underneath it. The battery is over there. And this slot here is designed for you to build your own 3D printed items that'll slide in there. You get the design from Ford. As far as storing people back here is concerned, it is a small truck. I'm 6'1". That seat is set comfortably for me, and I get in here thanks to this little cutout in the back of the seat, but probably would want to shuffle that up a little bit more if we were going on a long trip. Now, one thing you may have noticed, or should I say not noticed, is that the Maverick doesn't say it's a hybrid anywhere on it. For whatever reason, Ford decided not to scream it from the rooftops. In fact, the only way to tell this is a hybrid on site before you turn on the screens, which mentioned here and there, is by the blue trim you see scattered around the cabin. There's some down here on the air vents and the stitching on the seats. And in the case of the XLT, the seats are upholstered in cloth. Step up to the Lariat and you get synthetic leather. Maverick's dashboard has dual digital displays, and the big change for 2025 is that the center one has grown from 8 inches to 13.2. You will find all of the climate controls up there, but there is still a physical volume knob and a couple of buttons below it. Now, as far as the paint color is concerned, while it's not exclusive to the Maverick, it has an interesting name that I feel the need to explain, because it's called Eruption Green. Now, when you think eruption, you're probably thinking volcanoes, orange, fiery red lava, and you're not wrong about the volcano part. See, the thing is, some volcanoes, like ones found in Hawaii, bring up a mineral created in the Earth's mantle called olivine basalt. And as you can imagine from its name, it's green, not unlike this green. So the name makes perfect sense. if you're a geologist or a volcanologist, or I guess someone who lives near one of these volcanoes. In any case, I would say it's a very deep cut. Deeper than the Earth's core, perhaps. Now, even though this is all-wheel drive, it's not an off-road vehicle, at least not standard. Comes with all-season tires, and you're really buying that all-wheel drive system for snow and slippery roads. But for $800, you can get the FX4 off-road package, which swaps on a set of all-terrain tires and includes a retuned suspension for light off-roading, plus some underbody protection, and a couple of drive modes, including one for off-road. Even without any of that, this is fine on a flat, dry road like this. Nevertheless, I am interested to see how this all-wheel drive system puts the power down. As I said, it's a front-wheel drive based system, so when there's slip, it sends extra power to the rear for that extra traction. A lot of all-wheel drive systems work like that. Some of them don't do a great job. They slip too much before they start shuffling the power around. So I figure between the all-season tires on this and this uphill gravelly grade, I might get an idea of what it would be like on something slipperier like snow. So I'm just gonna floor it and see what happens. That was a clean getaway. If there was any slip, it wasn't significant. Definitely not problematic. Perhaps I should check back in the winter. It does have traction control that you can deactivate, so just for fun, I'm gonna try it like that. Hold for advanced track off. Takes a little while to do that. And here we go, and we're off. And I'm gonna do exactly the same thing and see how this one goes. Really, no difference, no discernible difference. And I'm not gonna drive like that normally. So I would expect in normal driving, this to perform very well. So I'm going up on a hill though. I guess I should see how it could put the power down in a turn. Man, same thing, perfect balance. No understeer, no oversteer, just right around the curve. Now, one of the reasons people still prefer hybrids to electric vehicles is range anxiety. You don't have any in one of these. You can get a quick fill up anytime you need it, and you get good fuel economy anyway. But as far as range is concerned, this has a 13.8 gallon tank. So at 37 miles per gallon, that's about 510 miles between fill-ups. And aside from the various things nature calls us to do, I could see riding in this for over 500 miles at a stint. It's very comfortable on the road. This is built on the same platform as the Bronco Sport, so it's basically a unibody, and it has a fully independent suspension system, which is nice and cushy and comfortable, but not bouncy. In fact, since this has a longer wheelbase than the Bronco Sport, it's actually smoother. This definitely feels nothing like a pickup, even a small one like the Ranger. Ride quality is 100% crossover. And you never forget, it started out as a front-wheel drive vehicle. Steering has that kind of feel to it. As far as electronic driver aids are concerned, the XLT is pretty basic. You've got automatic emergency brakes, blind spot warning system, and a lane departure prevention system. But if you step up to the Lariat, you get the Ford Copilot 360 package, which includes lane centering, adaptive cruise control. So I hate to have to break it to all of you who bought the front-wheel drive Maverick Hybrid, even though you wanted an all-wheel drive one because you didn't know there was one coming, or couldn't wait for it, because this actually is pretty great. In a lot of ways, this may be one of the most perfect vehicles on sale today when you consider the price, capability, and the fuel economy. Nevertheless, the Maverick lineup is nicely filled out at this point and is going to get even better in 2026, because while it added the all-wheel drive hybrid this year, it's bringing back the front-wheel drive turbo next year. Wasn't selling that recently. If you wanted a turbo, you had to get all-wheel drive, but they're going to offer it as a new budget option. So between the hybrid and the turbo, both of which are available in 3 trim levels, and the off-road Tremor and the new Street Performance Lobo, the Maverick is available in pretty much any type of vehicle you would like. I can't even really think of additional models they might be adding soon. Now, Ford hasn't said to expect any. I know some people have been daydreaming about maybe a Raptor version, an even more high-performance off-roader than the Tremor, but Ford hasn't used that model on anything but its trucks so far, the Ranger, the Bronco, and the F-150. I guess I could see them do an off-roader that's a little more aggressive than the Tremor, maybe something along the lines of the Bronco Sport's new Sasquatch package, or a Lobo that has more power. I think it can handle it. Ford is working on a new small pickup, however, and I'm not talking about the next generation Maverick. In 2027, it's going to be launching an all-new electric vehicle platform that it calls the Universal Electric Vehicle. It's a low-cost electric platform that's going to be able to accommodate a variety of body styles, and the first one is going to be a small pickup. Ford said it'll be about this size, but thanks to the layout of an electric vehicle platform, it'll have a larger cabin, bigger in fact than the Toyota RAV4s. This one's a little bit smaller than a RAV4. Now, it hasn't released any good images of the vehicle or many details, but the starting price target is around $30,000, so pretty much the same as this. There's no word yet on what the driving range will be, but Ford did say it'll be as quick as an EcoBoost Mustang. That's the turbocharged Mustang, which can do 0 to 60 in about 4.5 seconds. This needs about 6.5 seconds. But as I said earlier, no complaints with the range.